Alrighty, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us all here. And my apologies for our small little delay tonight. We did have a few little technical issues in the background, which hopefully we've now been able to iron out. But look, a big welcome to all of you. It's great to see so many of you here tonight once again, and we're looking forward to another great month of Telos Live and of learning and sharing together, but also being inspired as well. And so before we begin, what I'd love to do as always is just bring my co-pilot in, the lovely Ella. So let's bring Ella in. Ella, you want to say hello to everyone?
Yes, and I want to say hello to everyone. Welcome, everyone. We are glad to have you, particularly tonight and every time. So let's...
Excellent. So everyone, look, for those of you, I know there's a couple of new people who might be joining us tonight who have never been to a Telos Live event with us. And so we really welcome you here. Many moons ago, it's almost 2.5 years ago, Ella and I got inspired through spirit to create the Telos community, this beautiful place of connection of heart-minded people who are connected to this awakening consciousness that is coming through the heart. And over the last 2.5 years, we've been kind of holding different sessions and events. And from January this year, we've started running our first Telos Live session, and already we've had 6 of them. And the purpose of Telos Live has really been to bring in speakers, other speakers in the realm of spirituality, consciousness, the ascension pathway, health and healing, and to really have them share their gifts and to really inspire and bring through new wisdom and insights for all of us. So if you're here today, you're in the right place to hear the right message at the right time. And what I will just let you know before we do begin how these kind of sessions run, because they do run a bit differently than most of our other workshops. So what we'll be doing tonight, in a moment, we will introduce our guest speaker for tonight, Jennifer Bailey, who's come in to share with us. Once we've done that, we're going to have a question and answer session with Ella and myself, with Jennifer. And during that time, most of you will actually be muted. And the reason for that is just to stop any sorts of background noise. And during that time, if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will moderate them, and then can also always ask Jennifer those questions at the end of tonight. Halfway through the session, once we've finished like a bit of a Q&A and you get to meet Jennifer, we're then going to open up and allow Jennifer to do some sharing, and she may share some insights on healing and some meditation and what she feels inspired through her guides and angels. So it's going to be a great night. So Ella, is it okay if I hand to you? And if you could give us a nice little introduction to Jennifer before we bring her on.
Thank you, Les. Jennifer Bailey. One of my friends decided that I need to meet her. Probably it was like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It's happened that he is a friend also of Jenny. And then, yes, so we met. And from this time, we are friends, and she's my naturopath. And I do respect her, and I love the way she is working. And I have to say she helped me a lot during my challenge, health challenge. So obviously, I would like to help all of you, and hopefully we learn a few things from Jenny tonight. Yes, let's wait a little bit before we're gonna ask all those questions. So welcome, Jenny.
Jennifer, on the screen. And Jennifer, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Oh, it's really lovely that you invited me.
Excellent. And it's great that you're here to actually be able to share with most of our people that have joined us tonight. I know there's quite a few others who will probably listen into the recording. So I know Ella's been telling me a lot about you, so I think we're looking forward to this little session.
Oh, well, I hope you enjoy it.
Excellent. So maybe, Jennifer, a good place to start might be is to maybe just share a little bit with us about, how did you actually find your own journey onto, I suppose, the path as a naturopath and also doing the spiritual and herbal healing you're doing?
Well, many moons ago, I was working as an accountant in Collins Street and fell down 2 flights of stairs and broke my spine, and couldn't walk for 6 months. And doctors here couldn't do anything. So as miracles happen, I went on holiday to London and met an elderly doctor. And over there in Britain, they still practice homeopathy and herbs as part of the national Medicare system. And when she gave me homeopathic, she said, "No, I'll help you repair your discs and ligaments and tendons." I was just blown away. And I said, "Well, why don't our doctors do that?" And she said, "Oh, well, they did for 200 years. Homeopathy was the major medicine all around the world and it still is in countries like Russia, India, Britain, Europe, etc. So after I traveled around quite a bit, I came home and decided to study homeopathy and just really loved it. And it made sense to me because homeopathy is works on the energy wavelength to change the energy wavelengths of your cells to get rid of disease, but also works on the energy wavelength that it stimulates your own cells to build up and repair. And having grown up on a farm and worked with a lot of sheep and animals, cattle, and working with them, I felt it's the same for humans, that we need to get to the cause of situations and build up and repair our bones, discs, ligaments, etc. And then one of my teachers at college at the Southern School here was a top physicist, and he explained how homeopathy is really like physics. And it can actually, when you have a diseased cell, the cell actually spins anti-clockwise and has a low wavelength. When you feed it homeopathy, it changes the cells to have a clockwise rotation and raises the wavelength of the cells, so disease can't stay there anymore. And
so Jennifer, like when you kind of reflect back on that background, why is it you believe that homeopathy, obviously vibrational medicine like that, why in the West has it kind of been put aside?
Well, it's only really been put aside in America and Australia. And that being, especially when John Howard came in, he was anti all of the natural. So, I mean, I've lived in Italy, Germany, London, traveled through Europe about 6 times. You can go into any pharmacy, go to any doctor, and they can prescribe herbs and homeopathy. And my elderly father-in-law, who's 99, is a pharmacist. He said he only trained on herbs and homeopathy. That's all they had. And it's just that they can't patent natural things. So for them, people, for companies to make tablets, they can patent it and put their own price on it. You can't patent herbs that you can grow in the garden. But I've just seen amazing results. I treat farmers and country people all over Queensland and all over Victoria, and just the results. And of course, as you spiritual people know, the plant has the life force of the planets and the sun and the energy. And also they're very high, being a living plant, they're very high in lots of vitamins and minerals and chemical compounds that slot in. And we learnt 4 years of biochemistry, physics, pathology, organic chemistry, blah, blah, blah. So we know the chemicals that are in something like dandelion leaf. Those compounds will slot into the liver, rebuild the biochemical pathways, get them working properly. The same with my son was diagnosed with ADD. So I looked at my books and thought, okay, what vitamins and minerals and biochemical pathways need to work for people with ADD? And if you get the right nutrients through the herbs and the homeopathy, well, then the brain works properly. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think it's very interesting for people who are listening. Ella, you have a question?
I do. You're reading my mind. So your book, New Healing Secrets of Angels and Herbs. And
Yeah.
beautiful book. I read it, and then have a few questions, if I may.
Yeah, certainly.
How, because I know you channeled this book, so how did you connect, number one, with your channel, and then how you connected with the angels and the light beings? Just, I would like to know, how did you start basically your journey here?
Well, my husband took us up to Queensland, and a friend was going to a meditation college run by an elderly psychic Englishman. He and his mother used to teach in England, and his beings told him he had to come to Brisbane and teach all about the different spiritual levels and different spiritual beings and the beings of the planets and the constellations. And it was just a miracle that he started teaching me, and he taught all about color therapy and numerology, but he introduced us to we all have counselor beings that work with us, teacher beings of the light, protector beings of the light, from all dimensions and all levels. And it's not until someone teaches you the keys, which levels to go up into, that you know that they're all there. But we all have them. We all have them. It's just, and I've got a really lovely meditation that will help later. But when he started introducing us to the beings, I just thought, wow, this is like a whole different world. It's just wonderful. And took a little while of practice, and they just started coming in and telling me what people needed for their health and showing me inside the body and what's out of balance. But we can all do it. It's all in our DNA.
It's all within us. What I really love about the sessions I had with you, that from my observation, if I may share, you're going a little bit to trance, and then you let it through your guides, and you're watching through their eyes. What's going on inside Ella body?
Yeah.
I love this part, and also love, not only watching you but connecting with you, and then Ella see through her eyes. Oh my God!
Yeah, because the whole idea with meditation and bringing in energy is to raise your vibration up to the same level as the beings, and you can communicate, because they find it hard to come down to third dimension. And my teacher explained it's like going from AM radio to FM radio. So there's little exercises you can do to raise the vibration of your cells. So I go up into the chakra above the head, where the top of the aura is, and they come in from there. They can come in from there from all different levels to communicate or send healing or do past lives, and we can all do it.
And Jennifer, are you aware of the kind of guides or beings that are working with you? I mean, do they come in? I know some people say they have doctors in the spirit world, or guides that, are working very much with the elementals and the plants and nature. I mean, do you have a sense of them, or are they just connected a bit like a team and you just get the downloads?
Oh yeah, I'm aware of them. You can bring them in. I had to take the police to court 4 times. So I brought in beings. I brought in all my guide beings, and I asked them to bring in a solicitor being that knew all about the laws of Australia and what were the right terminology to go to court and speak to the judge. And so you can bring in doctor beings, you can bring in herbalists, you can bring in healing beings, you can bring in whoever you want. And with the meditation in the classes I went to, we were taught all the beings of the earth element, the fire element, the water element, the air element. And so with a particular meditation, you could go in the ground and you could see all the goblins and the fairies and the pixies feeding all the nutrients to the plant's roots, or healing the plants. So there's such a vast kingdom that you can work with. And we're all meant to be working with that. And when I wrote that book, I hadn't actually worked with the archangels. I was working with all different beings from like Buddhic levels, Nirvanic levels, monastic levels, and the constellation, like from Jupiter and that. And I was sitting in a cafe at Mullaney and a rainforest cafe, and I had Diana Cooper's orb cards, and I thought, oh, I'll have a look at this. When I opened up, there was an orb of Archangel Michael, and he just went whomp straight in me. And I thought, oh, those orb cards are amazing. And that's when they all started coming in. And they said to me I had to write the book to heal the meridians under the earth for the planet. And they said this book is for the future, for later on, because it was about 10 years ago now. And they said this is for everyone to use to bring in the archangels and the fairy kings and queens that are related to the plants. And so that's why I wrote the book, because when you're using all the herbs that are in the book, you can ask the archangels to flow their energies through the herbs so that when you eat them, they come into your body.
And can I just ask, like with the archangels that you connected with when you were writing, like with Michael, etc., what was the kind of energy or vibration they brought through? Or what was the kind of core messages that they were bringing through?
Well, I said to write a book about, because I knew about the herbs, to come in with the herbs. I use them for other things, but they just came straight in and said that we want people to use the herbs in their cooking and daily life and teas and things, because they can then channel the energies from different planets that are related to that herb. Like thyme is a very old herb that actually was very big in Egyptian times. So it has a lot of Egyptian healing energies and things like that. And they showed me how they could put their hand up and bring some energies from Jupiter, or energies from Aries, or energies from Gemini through that plant, because it's a living thing. It's a life force. We're a life force. So they can channel those energies through the plant so that we get them into our body.
Okay, great. Look, I know there's a lot of people here tonight who probably have come on to listen tonight because, one, they're either going through a healing journey or crisis at the moment. Some have maybe been through, and I know we've got quite a lot of healers in our group who are wanting to work with people more vibrationally and energetically.
Yeah.
But, like when your clients come to you and they have a healing crisis, I mean, what's the first things you do with them to kind of help them move forward and to heal?
Well, it depends where they are, and if they're spiritual and open to it, then we can look back and the beings will tell me if it's a past life event that's caused a blockage, and which herbs and bark flowers and homeopathics will clear that blockage so that they no longer have that illness. And so usually, like today, I came in here about 3/4 hour earlier and cleanse. It's really important that to cleanse out your house, put a shield of protection around the house, use colors and energies to cleanse out the room, and then cleanse out your bodies so that you're clear, because in the atmosphere, it holds everyone's thoughts and emotions and feelings, and it pulls us down, and we want to be our life force self. So we need to really cleanse that off before we can heal ourselves, I guess.
And just finally, before I hand back to Ella, are there any kind of specific practices you do for yourself to help with that?
Yes, in the book I've got an exercise here. I use solar radiance a lot. We were taught lots of like different numerology and colors and energies from Aries and stuff to use, but the simplest form is solar radiance. Solar radiance is a sparkling gold light in the solar system and from the universe, which I use to cleanse out the house and cleanse out all my bodies. And it's simple. And you can also use it if you've go through the day and you think I need boosting with energy. You can just command that solar radiance is flowing into my body, giving me energy and vitality, or giving me harmony and balance, or giving me happiness and upliftment. It's one of those ones you can just use all the time.
Yeah, fantastic. And before I just hand to Ella, is, Jem has just mentioned, which is a really nice thing in the chat. She just kind of mentioned that her uncle's a homeopath in Canada, and in Canada they actually have a DoorDash service of providing homeopathy. So very interesting. Ella, over to you.
Thank you. What I really like about your session, I remember first session we had, you were already tuned in with my energy. Before I came, you already wrote everything I should know. And so that showed me straight away that you are old school like I am. We're doing the same things. So so you are really well and truly connected on every level, and I do respect this. Jenny, how about you gonna share with us about the Bach flower remedies? How do you use? What is it?
Yeah, well, the Bach flower remedies, when I first used them at college, one of the teachers gave me some. I just went, whoa, this has changed my whole vibration, because Dr. Bach in 1910 was a Harley Street doctor in London. And because they all use homeopathy then, and the homeopathy is mainly made from plants and minerals, he decided I'll start making them from the flowers. So he made diluted formulas from certain flowers and found that it worked very quickly and uplifted our energies and helps to balance our thoughts, our mind, our emotions, and the physical body. And they're very simple. Everyone can use them. There's no side effects. And he was actually working in a psychiatric hospital, and he said that if you gave everyone Bach flowers, that they wouldn't need to be in the hospital because they balance our mood and emotions. But I use them also for past life healing and for ADD and depression and postnatal depression, all that kind of thing.
And in your practice, Jennifer, how do you know what's right for which person? Like, how do you attune to which remedy or Bach flower? Do you have a particular mode of working to do that?
Oh, well, I studied it, but anyone, anywhere can buy a book on the Bach flowers and read it and get a simple book. It just says what negative emotions you're trying to balance and the positive outcome. It's very simple. That's why I go out to all the country towns in Queensland and get all the farmers have bought their Bach flower sets because they're treating their animals, they're treating their kids. You can't go wrong. There's no side effects. And Queensland Health got me to actually train a lot of the nurses up there on Bach flowers and homeopathy because it doesn't interfere with any doctor's medicines. It's a wavelength. But they're absolutely brilliant. I find when I make up some for myself, I might do a mixture of about 4 or 5. You know, might have one for energy, one for clear thought, one to stop my mind churning over and over, and one that's an uplifting, happy one. Put them all in together. And in the books, it says to have 4 drops on the tongue 4 times daily, but I actually get people to put the drops in their water bottle so that every time they have a sip, they're getting a dose, so that by the end of the day, they'll feel a huge difference. And I've treated a lot of suicidal teenagers that were going to slash their wrists and stuff like that. And I've given them the Bach flowers in the water to sip in my clinic and given them to take home. And the next day they'll ring and say, I feel totally different.
That's fascinating. And it's interesting, Jem has just popped in again that Bach flowers actually helped cure part of her depression 20 years ago. So,
oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
So it's good to hear. Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit of, obviously you work with herbs and, are there any particular herbs that you're finding at the moment people are needing more than others? And how do you work with the herbal energy and therefore working with those with healing?
Well, I have bottles of herbal tinctures that I mix up together. And probably at the moment, I'm giving a lot of people things like echinacea for their immune system. But I do a mixture of whatever people need. And it's just, if they've got kidney problems or liver problems or digestive problems, I check their irises and check what all the organs are doing, and then I just do a formula for their immune system, for cleaning the blood, cleaning the lymphatics, toning up the liver, getting the digestion working, just put it all in the one bottle.
And it's funny because my guides are coming in, they're telling me digestive issues, because that's a big thing, probably more prevalent now, I'd assume, the way people are talking about it. I was at a workshop during the weekend, and
Right.
quite a few people had, irritable bowel and all these other different things. On a metaphysical level, just for those, like, on a metaphysical, emotional level, what's kind of related to all of that and why people get some of these digestive issues?
Oh, well, I guess you could say that, well, a lot of people get digestive issues because, especially water and earth signs, their stress goes to their gut. My dad was a Virgo, and he always, when he got stressed out, he had digestive upset, too much acid, and that kind of thing. Whereas my daughter's an Aquarius, their stress goes to their lungs generally. So she used to get asthma. And so you can look at it that way. But I think everyone's under stress at the moment, the last 3 years in Melbourne. And of course, there's chemicals in the food, there's chemicals in the water. And when I was growing up, well, especially on the farm where we grew all our own fruit and veggies, everything was organic and the spring water was fresh. We didn't have all the rubbish that's in all our foods. So it's going to be hard for the digestive tract to assimilate them, I guess. I think we need to go back to organic. And some of the markets like Emerald Market and Cockatoo Market are good because they have all the farmers that grow organic and you can buy them really cheaply. Does that answer your problem?
I think it does, yes. Well, hopefully it answers others, because mine's okay at the moment.
I have just one more question, if I may. I know you were growing on the farm. And then do you think that was the time when you actually connected with fairies and the elementals and your spirituality started to grow from this point? I also feel, before you're going to answer, I also feel that lineage coming from your mother, I feel she was very spiritual and very much into the nature.
Well, on my dad's side, my grandmother was very spiritual and she looked after all the animals and herbs. And I did feel, because they say that when you're born, you still have the memories of the other side. Mm-hmm. And I felt that even like up to the age of 5, I didn't feel like I was fully in the material, but I used to feel the energies of the animals and the plants, and everyone does. Everyone hugs a tree. And I was just when I was about 7, I read a book about this Aboriginal girl that spoke to the spirits of the water and how they communicate with the spirits of the trees in the area where they were born. And it made sense to me that the water has the spirits, the trees have the spirits, and that kind of thing. But it didn't really click until I went to the meditation college in Brisbane with my teacher Bill. It didn't click at all.
Okay, so meditation. I hope you all hear meditation. You cannot avoid it. This is the pathway to develop. Thank you very much, Jenny. Back to you, Les. Perhaps we have a question now.
Almost one more question, and then I think we'll hand over to yourself, Jennifer. On a higher level, obviously for us, where we're at in humanity and consciousness at the moment, if you were to kind of consider it, what do you believe is probably the message that the guides, angels, and masters want to probably say to us about our own health and looking after our health and healing at this time? Is there any kind of greater message that you feel you've been sensing with your clients or with others at this time?
Well, I think especially at this time, it's really important to do a meditation and a cleansing of the house and the bodies, even if you only do a short one, to raise your vibration up to be what we're meant to be, because with everything that's going on at the moment and all the negativity around the place on the TV and radio and etc., it's pulling us down, so we're not that big life force being that we should be, and we're not able to work to our full potential. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And there's like, you know, you can do a meditation, but you can just do a quick cleanse. I can give you a couple of things that just take seconds. And one of the things I really like, I'll give you some more. One of the ones I really, really like is if you think of a diamond above your head, and you have positive Mercury at the top of the diamond, positive Saturn at the left, positive Venus at the right, and positive Jupiter at the bottom. And you just command that those energies from those four planets are flowing down within you, and you visualize it like light coming within you. That takes seconds, and you can use it for whatever you want. You can use it for protection. You can use it for raising your vibration. You can use it for happiness and upliftment, or you can use it for healing. There's a lot of little things like that that you can use. And I'll give you another little one that's a short command that it'll just, if you don't have time to do a big meditation, you can just quickly do it in seconds. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
And you probably know a heap yourself, you and Ella, because you've been teaching for a while.
I suppose the biggest thing is, you know, for those people, like I know I came from a background in IT, you know, years ago, and I was very left brain. And so all of this stuff just seemed out of this world to me, which literally it was. And it's funny, it's taken, I don't know, 30 years for me to fully become aware to go, okay, there's something in this. You know, so I suppose it just depends, you know, like obviously people's consciousness is developing on the earth plane at the moment, and more people are opening to these types of healing technologies, which I'll call them, which are higher ascension level technologies and ways of bringing healing. But what would you say to somebody who thinks this is all rubbish, you know, all of this higher stuff?
Oh, I get it all the time, and it doesn't worry me, because I mainly studied maths and physics and chemistry all through high school, and was going to go to uni and do that until I broke my spine, and it opened me up to all of this. So, you know, it's I do get patients that come in that are like that, but once they get onto the herbs and the homeopathy, they're open to it. It's just what we used to use. I mean, in the old days when I was a kid growing up in the country, doctors and the chemist shop used to make their own herbal tinctures and their own stomach mixes and immunes, and it's not new age. It's and there's a chemist in Seville. He mixes up all his own herbs and homeopathy, and so it's just that if people don't believe it, they will open up to it eventually.
That's right. I suppose if it's all the matter of actually using it, trying it, and seeing the results for themselves, you know, until they actually are feeling and experiencing it.
I have one more question. How do you help client if the client's coming with this attitude? Well, I don't believe it, but my friend told me that you might help me. How do you increase client like this?
Yeah, I do. I often get like women send their husbands in.
Yeah.
And
women always send their husbands in because there's always, they think there's something I need to fix.
Well,
we know better, Les. We know how to fix you. Okay, Jenny, back to you. How do you deal with them?
Well, I just say, well, you know, just listen to me and let me take your blood pressure and check your nails and your tongue and your diet and the iridology, and then I explain them their foods aren't having enough B vitamins, or they're not getting enough magnesium, and then then they sort of start to think about it, and then they become open to it, because you can talk in an airy fairy way about spirituality and the beings coming in, but otherwise I can just say it in a practical way. You know, you're not getting enough B vitamins for your kidneys. That's why you're exhausted. You're not getting enough magnesium to help you sleep. And that's why you're getting, you know, because it's, so if you start on a practical level and gradually build up to the other.
Okay. And before we kind of hand over to you, because I think we'll go into, I know you've got a meditation and a process you want to maybe take us through tonight. But before we do that, Jan's just got a question here, Jennifer. She says, like, what's a quick way of doing a cleanse of a room or a house for energy? If there's energy in a space or a room.
Well, I was talking about solar radiance before. That's really quick, and you can just command solar radiance is flowing into this room, removing all dross, thought forms, emotional forms, negative energies, and sending it out into the universe to be dissolved. And you just sit with that for a bit, and then you can do the same with your own body, and that'll be a quick way of doing it.
Excellent. And I'm also getting, you can call in your master teachers and guides to support you in that healing for your space or room too.
That's right. And often if I haven't had time, often I just ask Archangel Michael to vacuum out the house, vacuum all whatever stuff I want, thoughts, feelings, emotions, vacuum out of my body, and just ask the angels or your guardian angels or spirit guides to do that, and they can do it. And the same with like protection. If you haven't had time to put up protection, I just ask the protector beings of the light working with me, please put a shield of protection around the house at night and to protect the house and car from any intruders or damage. You can do things quickly.
Excellent. And I think the key things I take out of that is two things. One is intention. It's your intention.
Yeah.
And it's also invocation. Just remember your words are powerful. And as you invoke and you bring through the higher guides, the angels that work with you, that you're working with them. You're part of the God force, just like they are. And so that energy will hold and it actually becomes more powerful. So thank you, Jennifer. And if I could get Archangel Michael to come and vacuum my house every day, that would be really wonderful. All right.
Well, I love the way Diana Cooper says, look, you've got to ask them all to come in. They're all standing around waiting for you to ask them to come in. She said, there's all these unemployed angels out there and they can't do their job unless you ask them to come in. And she's really gorgeous.
That's it. Excellent. So Jennifer, I think what we'll do is I'm going to open up the screen and bring everybody on screen, and then I'm going to hand over to you, and you can kind of take us on a little bit of journey or do what you'd like to share for the next 20 minutes or so, and we'll do that. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So let me do that now. I'm just going to.
Yeah, I can see them all.
Yeah, good. So at least you can see some faces and names. So
yeah,
look, hand over to you and over to you for the next part of today.
Oh, thanks for that. Well, I hope this isn't too long, but this is my favorite meditation of all of them, is bringing in the Lords of the Divine Presence, because we are part of the God force. We're part of all the beings of light and the Brotherhood of the Light, etc. So I'll just go through this little meditation of bringing in the Lords of the Divine Presence, because I find it works really, really well. And you can ask for whatever you want, or doorways to open, and you can ask for healing for yourself or for friends. And I found it with all the patients and friends I've given it to, it works really, really well. And I can type up a copy and send it to you if anyone wants a copy. So I'll just get everyone to close their eyes and sit quietly within if they can. And place a strong command in your mind. I'm vibrating and flowing up into my alpha state of consciousness. I am an energy being. I am as bright as the sun. So think of your energy radiating out into the room. Then command through my life force and the divine presence within me. My life force is awakening in every part of my being. Through my life force and the divine presence within me, my life force is expanding and enveloping all of my bodies. Think of it radiating out like a bright sun. Then command, my conscious mind is vibrating and flowing within my life force mind. Then command, through my life force and the divine presence within me, my life force is now removing all energies and vibrations affecting me adversely. Think of your life force as a bright light, pushing out any dark colours, pushing it all so your being is becoming clear and bright. Then command, my conscious mind is revibrating and flowing within my alpha state of consciousness. My life force and heart center are in harmony as one. Then place a strong command from the dark violet deep within my heart center. My life force love, my divine love, is flowing into the light and enveloping all my bodies and cells. So imagine your divine love flowing out from the heart like a light, flowing into all of your bodies and every cell and every part of your being. Then command, I am a life force being, an energy being of love. Now think of a doorway in front of you. It is open and that bright white light is pouring from it. So step into the doorway and say, I look into the doorway of great light and I commit myself to the divine love of the universal presence. And think of the light flowing over you and in you and around you. That's the love of the divine essence coming in to help us. I am now one with the divine love, and all things will be given unto me. Imagine yourself becoming one with the energy of the divine presence. And then say within your mind, I give honor to the lords of the divine presence, and I give respect to the lords of the divine present and to all the healing beings who come forward to help humanity. And place the request. For all the pain, hurt, and suffering I have caused myself and others, either directly or indirectly, I am sorry, and may the causing angels be taken from me. May all the causing angels be taken from me. Through the Lords of the Divine Presence, may my astral, etheric, mental, physical, and life force bodies be healed, strengthened, and vitalized. within every part of my being. So think of that light of the divine presence flowing in to your whole being, healing, strengthening, and vitalizing every part of your being. When you're doing this at home, you can sit with it for half an hour or 5 minutes, and it works very strongly. Through the Lords of the Divine Presence, may my physical body be healed and made whole and well. Through the Lords of the Divine Presence, may my mind be calm, cleared, and quietened. May I be given the understanding of myself and others, and show me the way to make the right decisions within my life. Through the Lords of the Divine Presence, may inner strength flow within me and be increased within me, so that I may hold my balance within this material world. And while you're in that stage, you can ask the Lords of the Divine Presence to also bring happiness into your life, or prosperity, or opportunities, or new doorways to open. And you can also ask for others, for your family. Think of them enveloped with the white light of the Divine Presence. Ask, may changes be made for them. May opportunities open up for them. May happiness flow in their life. And know that it will happen. Then command, my conscious mind is flowing into my heart center. Divine Presence, may I be blessed and all things forgiven of me. Then look into the doorway of white light again and say, thank you, Lords of the Divine Presence. Thank you, beings of goodness and kindness and love who come forward to help humanity. May the healing energies flow through me and continue to flow through me and through my family until it is complete. Then when you're ready, just place the command, I'm slowly returning to my normal mental, physical, and emotional self. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And when you're doing that at home, in each request, you can stay in it for a couple of minutes, or you can stay in it for a quarter of an hour. When I do it myself, I think of the white light. I think of me and my 2 kids standing in the doorway of white light, sending the healing energies, and ask for help for them and changes to come into their life if they need it. It's a really good one, and I found it really works with a lot of people.
Thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. That was lovely to just go through and to do it. And I think to see it and feel it from a healing perspective with those divine lords of the light. So very nice. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. There's so many.
And I know for me, it was interesting when I was listening to the words, there was a vibration in there when we were saying sorry for some of that past stuff. It almost felt like a release. And it's interesting how those words of just saying that and releasing can actually lift stuff off the body.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because they explained to me that saying I'm sorry for what I've done, that goes right through past lives where people have hurt us. We've hurt other people. I mean, it happens. And the causing angels are the angels that actually unblock it and release it.
Okay, great. I was going to ask, because you mentioned causing angels, I'm going to ask what your sense of that was. So that's good.
Yeah, which I didn't know until I went to class and I thought, oh my God,
Oh, fantastic.
you know, it's good.
Well, what we're going to do now, since people are back, you just have a think if there's any questions that you have for Jennifer. I know I have one or two, Jennifer, because we're coming into a bit of question and answer time just to finish
Yep.
up the session tonight. But Jennifer, you know, like on the weekend, I was at a course and I kept meeting people, and it was funny. We were doing some healing, and there's a few people there with missing gallbladders, had them removed. You know? And so I
Yeah.
just want, you know, on a metaphysical level, because we kind of understand, like obviously lungs, you know, connects quite a bit with grief and kidneys with anger, resentment, but liver, spleen, and gallbladder. Can you just share a little bit metaphysically about how they impact our lives and emotionally why they get challenges?
Well, a lot of people get gallbladder problems because the liver's not working properly, because as you know, they work in together. And of course, the liver holds a lot of grief, a lot of shock, a lot of trauma. But I don't know why the doctors always try and take out the gallbladder, because it can cause problems after. But if the gallbladder is playing up, it means the liver is not producing enough enzymes to help the gallbladder to work properly. And so with gallbladder problems, I always give liver herbs and liver homeopathics to tone up the liver, and then that'll help the gallbladder. And often people get gallstones, but once again, that's the liver not breaking them down.
Yeah, so it all comes back to liver there with those two. And spleen, that little kind of organ we never hear too much about.
Yeah, well, the spleen works in with the bone marrow to produce all our immune cells.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, when you look at your blood tests, we have B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, eosinophils, neutrophils, and all of that. And they actually kill viruses, but they don't want you to know that. They kill bacteria and they kill viruses. And usually the bone marrow makes them, but the spleen makes them as well. So they both work in together, and they send all those immune cells all over the body, every part of the body. So it's like, well, you can do muscle testing to check which emotion is being held into the spleen, or I just ask the beings, what emotion is that person holding in? And it could be, like I said, it could be emotion from birth, having a difficult birth, or grief, or shock, or trauma, or it could be something from a past life. It could be that I've had patients where they've had a past life and a tree's fallen over them right where the spleen is.
Okay.
So then you give homeopathics to remove that shock wave. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. No, that's all good. So we'll open up to anybody else, and again, you can unmute or put your hand up and then unmute if there's a question that you have, anything that you'd want to ask Jennifer before we finish up about what she's covered tonight, a little bit about maybe how she works with the guides, the beings, the healing aspect of our bodies. Anybody else got anything tonight? This is your time. Mark's nodding his head. Mark's a nomadic tonight. He's fully settled in. Anybody else?
I've got one.
Francis. Francis is waving. Thank you, Francis. It's nice to have you wave.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Jennifer. That was lovely. And I love the meditation.
Oh,
I was listening to you earlier and you were talking about the stars and the planets, and I've been really fascinated by astrology of late. So I'm curious as to, are you bringing that in separately to use with the work that you do, or is it part of homeopathy, or what's that all about?
Well, I've got friends that do astrology. I don't know a lot about it, but when I went to the meditation classes, my teacher, Bill, got us to work with the beings from Jupiter and Saturn and Aries and that kind of thing. And so I work with them when they come in, but I don't know a lot about doing the astrology chart or anything.
Right.
And we learned how that calendar, the moon calendar that you can get from that guy on the Gold Coast is excellent, because it shows you what's in, and every 2 days when the moon goes into a different sign, I found it really helpful with the kids, because if the moon's gone into Aries, you'll see all the cars driving around, racing around and carrying on. And if you're feeling a bit angry or whatever yourself, and just command, okay, the excess Aries energies are flowing out of me into the universe.
Right.
And you can do that every day. And sometimes I just say the excess fire elements flowing out of me, the universe, excess air element, excess water element, excess earth elements flowing out of me into the universe, because those planets do affect us.
Right,
and just, it makes a huge difference. As I said, I don't know a lot about astrology, but I just use the moon calendar and work with the beings, but I don't know how to do a chart or anything like that. My friends do that. Are you doing that?
I'm learning.
Fantastic.
Old, slow learner, but I am learning.
Oh, that's fabulous.
It's good. She's very good, Frances, with putting different things together. So excellent.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer, I've
you.
got just another question just I'm picking up, but obviously there's another aspect of different people with chronic fatigue kind of elements or issues or challenges. I mean, obviously there can be many different things from what I understand, but like if you're treating that, like how do you go about working with somebody with that?
Well, I've been treating chronic fatigue, as I said, 36 years ago when I started. I had heaps of people with chronic fatigue, and they just weren't getting the right vitamins and the minerals and things like that. But also, a lot of people that had chronic fatigue had very low blood pressure, and that was never picked up by doctors or anyone. And like some of my patients had blood pressure of 90 on 50 or 80 on 40, and the doctors say, oh, that's fabulous, you got low blood pressure. And I had low blood pressure growing up. That's one of the causes. But of course, you check, is the blood full of toxins? Is the lymphatic full of toxins? Is the digestion not working? The liver not working? You check all those physical, I check it on the irises, and if the beings come in, they might tell me what's going on while they've got chronic fatigue. Does that answer?
Yeah, I think it does. No, that's good. Just wanted to get a bit of a sense of how, that kind of manifests and what you might do. Ella, did you want to have something?
Yes, from my understanding, we're becoming sick when one of the organ is getting sluggish and doesn't vibrate the way it should. Because they show me like inside there is a one big orchestra, okay, and everything has their own rhythm, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. So obviously through homeopathic remedy, you can bring back the rhythm, the vibration which is needed, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Look, Jennifer, where our people can get your book, because I'm finding really very helpful.
Oh, that's great. Well, I have about 200 copies.
Have you read them all?
Oh, look, Hay House published my book, but it was really hilarious because they didn't print all of it, but they put it on their website under fitness. gym and fitness. And I thought, oh, this is ridiculous.
Mm.
So it's probably hard to get. I know all the Theosophical bookshops sell it and all of that kind of thing, but if anyone wants that book, it's got a lot of exercise at the back using the beings of the colour, the solar radiance, and cleansing the house, cleansing your bodies, quick, easy exercises.
And does it actually go through all different herbs and what they're for and how they can be
Yeah,
used? Is that right?
yeah, but I don't use all the herbs. I've only got like about 20 of the major ones that we use,
Yeah, good.
that we grow, the major ones that we normally grow and normally use in cooking in our food.
Okay.
So perhaps next time I'm going to see you. I get a few copies so we can distribute through our Telos.
Yeah, that'd be good. And if we've got time, I've just got a quick exercise that takes seconds that is good to do during the day, bringing in the beings of light. It's only a quick command.
Yeah, share
that
away.
helps. It's there's a word called Aum. It's spelled A-U-M, but it's pronounced A-O-O-N-G, Aum. And if you're doing a command, if you put your thumb with your middle finger together in the right hand, that's coming from your life force spirit mind, not from your mental mind. So it works really quickly. So with the command, it's just Aum. Beings of light, please come into my life and help me throughout the day and help me with energy or help me with healing throughout the day. You can ask for anything and just go Aum, Aum, Aum at the end. So we do that a lot, just, you know, beings of light, please come into my life and help me with everything throughout the day.
Okay.
So that's just quick and easy, and that way they're in all day.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's a nice little technique and practice to have them with us. A couple of questions I'm just going to take off the chat to finish up and answer. Gemma was asking, sorry, where can I get the book? So I think what's going to happen is Ella will pick up some copies, and maybe then if you want them, you can let us know and we can somehow try and get them to you. Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
that's probably the easiest way, unless you've got a place or a website, Jennifer, or is it better to give them to Ella?
Well, I can give them to Ella because I did have a website when I was up in Queensland, but now I'm back here. I haven't set one up yet.
Yeah, no problem at all. We'll do that. I think that's the easiest way. And Eleanor is asking, where is Jennifer located? Whereabouts are you based, Jennifer? And how do people get in touch with you?
I have a clinic at home and I do home visits.
Okay. Hopefully everybody's kind of got that. If you don't, just send us a message or a text and I'll let you know after the session. And just final question for you, Jennifer, you know, obviously you've done years of this work, but if you were to go back and talk to your younger self and you were to give one piece of health advice, one piece that if you could remind that younger Jennifer way back there to pay attention to this throughout her life, what would that one thing be?
Oh, I suppose the one thing would be is to get into the herbs. You know, what else can I say? I used to do, well, after I fractured my spine, I couldn't do much for a few years. So I did a lot of yoga breathing, and then I did a lot of yoga for about 30 years.
Fantastic.
And I found that really helpful because you guys probably find too that the yoga sort of is spiritual as well as physical.
Exactly, yeah. And I love it because obviously I know when I'm doing a different asana or posture, it's like I can feel the energy starting to flow back because it's working on those meridians, it's working on different organs.
Yes.
But I think the other thing that's important to take away, I think from what Jennifer's saying and my guides are coming in, is about the breath. That, you know, we do forget to breathe, and our cells and our tissues and organs need that oxygen and that energy moving. So to breathe, okay? Can everybody take a deep breath? Yeah, good. Just wanted to make sure you're all breathing.
I love the yoga breathing. When I fractured my spine, I had to lie flat on the floor at the farm for 6 months. I couldn't even move my head, but a friend from the library gave me a book on yoga with this Indian yogi guy cured himself of polio with yoga. I couldn't do any exercises, but I just did the yoga breathing. And sometimes I would do the yoga breathing for like an hour, and just felt so good. And it really got rid of the pain and helped to, you know, work on that spiritual level. One time I was doing the yoga breathing and I went outside in the garden, and when I'd done the yoga breathing for an hour, a gold column of light came down from the universe into my heart and out my hands, and then all the plants all lit up with gold aura, and all our auras intertwined. That's when I first saw the beings. But that yoga breathing, I do it now, even if I'm sitting at the lights in the car or standing in a queue in the bank or whatever. That yoga breathing is just amazing. It's just so wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Excellent. Well, look, thank you, Jennifer, for joining us here tonight. It's been great to kind of connect with you, and thank you for your sharing from the heart. And nice to meet somebody who's on the same level as most of the people who are here. And it has this nice connection between, I suppose, the physical aspects of health, but also the spiritual and the higher level way of working with beings to bring health and healing. So let's give Jennifer a bit of a round of applause. Fantastic.
Thank you. Well, I hope everyone's enjoyed it.
And Jan was asking about that yoga breath, but maybe Jennifer, you can send us maybe a little email or a copy of just what you do with that breath, and we can share it with the group, because it sounds like an interesting practice.
Yeah, it's just breathing in through your nose to a count of 5, holding it for 5, and then breathing out through your mouth for.
There you go. As easy as that.
Breathing in through your nose to the count of 5, and then while you're doing that, you push your abdomen and lungs out because they're like bellows. Hold it for a count of 10, and then slowly breathe out through your mouth to a count of 10 as you bring your lungs back in.
Fantastic. And sorry, Jan, your question was about the meditation. Yes, you will, because once the recording's done, I'll actually publish it, and everybody who's registered, I'll let you know when the recording's available, so you'll be able to go back to that meditation. All right. Fantastic. So before we finish, everyone, thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you for being here. Hopefully there's been something here that's resonated with you, something you'll take away. And yes, go and look at those herbs. Go and look at the natural healing energy of plants, because they're a part of our ecosystem and part of our connection with everything. Ella, do you want to say anything before we wrap up?
Yes, start growing those herbs in the kitchen whenever you can. Just stick in the pot, and then so we're going to have organic. Thank you, Jennifer. That was really a pleasure to have you in the Telos live. And thank you all for coming. Lovely to see you all.